Live with Courtney. I'd like to say good day, and I'm coming to you from the beautiful Central Coast, the very noisy Central Coast of New South Wales in Australia. Excuse my mess behind me. Stampin' Up have currently got happening their virtual album retreat. It's 3 days of scrapbooking, 12 double-page spreads spread across the 3 days, and aside of the big packet of scraps at the front there, the rest is my mess, my creative mess. Are you a messy card maker? Are you a messy paper crafter like me? I take up as much room as I've got and I just go for it. So we're looking again this week at having so many scraps or offcuts is probably a better way of putting it. What do we do with them all? There's, we make the card that we love, and then the rest of those pieces get put to the side. So we are looking at what can we do with all of those extra offcuts. So I've got a few things up my sleeve. The last 2 weeks we did little thin offcuts, and we made the cards with those using our adhesive sheets. I put the adhesive sheets away for today, so just bear with me. We're going back to my favorite liquid glue. So on my table today, I have got some pieces from the Full of Life Designer Series paper, and I brought over the back piece. Just we're fuzzy. It does that when it's a bit what's the word for it? Not so bright, and I've got the lights on, but I've been in the craft room all day today, so let's see if we add a bit of light in that way, if that makes a difference to our. So the Full of Life Designer Series paper is available in the online store. It's a really pretty paper. It's quite patterned, and I've got all of these little bits from some cards that I made for a class a long time ago. These little bits remind me of candles, so you could have a bit of play with those. And I've pulled over to this time, I've pulled over the birthday celebrations because I just saw candles. Now there is a little leaf die in here, but those candles are probably a little bit too fat for that to be a flame. So I thought we'd use these dies and this stamp set. I also brought over the new corrugated 3D embossing folder because I actually really like it. The other one that I've got with me, just in case, because I can't decide which one I was going to use, was the turtle one. So we'll see how we go with that. So pop into the comments, say hi. We'll have a play. This is crushed curry. Crushed curry is one of the colors in here. There's lots of things, but I don't know if you remember when we used to have lots and lots of washi tape. There was a couple of things that you could do with washi tape, and you could make cake out of them. So I thought I'd revisit some cake making with paper. Now we do have cake celebrations, which is another stamp set that you can paper a piece of cake, and it's even got a cake stand. But I decided that I didn't want to play with that. So I've got my envelope. I brought over the black because I couldn't decide what color I wanted to frame my piece with, and I may not even use it. I haven't decided. But if this is my card front, there's a couple of things I'm going to do. Aside of the fact that if I want to use the black, it's too big. So I'll just trim it down so it will fit on that basic black piece. I've got my trimmer. I also have my trusty box of scraps, and I found in the big scrap bin behind me a piece of gold. Now that's too big to be a scrap as far as I'm concerned, but it was there, so I've added it to that, so we'll be able to use that. So what size are you? This one's a 10 by 14.5, so we'll make this 9.5, just because you can, by 14, and we'll go from there. Now there's a couple of different things that you can do with this with paper, and when I say make a cake, I don't know, I've got a girlfriend that makes cakes. I don't know about you guys, but one of the things that she does is she does this ombre technique, and I quite like it. So This piece, like they're all, that's probably another one of those. This ombre piece, that could be a layer of our cake. And if you remember the washi tape, you could do all different layers. So you can do cake layers for anybody. The same as if you wanted these other colors, you could cut these other colors out. But I wasn't sure what I was going to do. So we do need to we're going to make a cake and we're going to layer it up. And then we'll do something, we'll just stamp around it. So nice and quick and easy this time. But we might cut some banners. So this piece here is 9.5 cent. Hi, Anne. Hey. Oh, wow. Hi, Anne. How are you going? I'm glad you got a notification. It must be because we've all been watching videos today. So Facebook must be going, oh, the algorithm says that you want to watch a video. So that piece there for our front is 9.5 centimeters across, which is just a bit over 3.5 inches for if anyone from America is watching. So we want to make sure the base of our cake is smaller. So I'm just going to go, I'll go with 8 centimeters. So that can be the base of my cake, which means that the other 2 layers, and depending on which one, these are about 1 inch thick, they've got to be smaller. So that one was 8, we could go with 7.5, and we can cut them down if we decide we don't want them that, yeah, that needs to be a little bit smaller. So we'll go with 7, which will mean that this one here is going to be a little 6-inch top, or 6, not 6-inch. Hi, Lowell. Hi, Sharon. How you going? So we can actually, there's a couple of different ways we can do our cake. And now, I don't know if you guys, if any of you have ever made cakes. These are nice and smooth if these are the cakes that we're using. All right, but they can be decorated. So we're going to send them through our cut and emboss machine and put a little bit of texture on them. Okay, so I'll just get my appropriately coloured mats. And the bottom tier is actually going to be, and it depends on which way you want, I'm going to actually send it through so that my corrugation goes up and down. You know, a bit like if it was on I don't know, not a wedding cake. I think you can have them anyway. Like, hi, Wendy, how you going? Got everybody here today at school. So, and Chris is here as well. Gosh. All right, so that's going to end up at the bottom of my cake. But because, oh, did I do the right piece? Oh, you know what? I didn't. That was silly. We'll have to send that bit through again. And just because I can, I'm going to make the turtley piece, the blue one. Now, this is the turtle background, which is the turtle that goes with our turtley sweet. But it's going to make a really cute. Let's make sure I get the right pieces this time. What do you reckon? I've got all these scraps here and they just sort of sitting there and I just picked up the wrong one. That'll be about right. We'll send this one through again. Make sure that they're in the direction you want. Send that through with your spine first because it is a 3D embossing folder. Right, there's my proper piece and I'm going to do the blue piece with the turtle background, but I'm going to try and make sure, like I'm going to place it in an area that the pieces are a little bit smaller, like like that. Okay. Oh, I think actually this one's a normal embossing folder, so it's going to need my 2 clear pieces, and my other clear piece has developed some legs. Can anyone see it? I just had it like a minute ago. All right. Other clear piece. I left it on the other table. Sorry about that. I thought this was a 3D embossing folder as well, but it's not. It's a normal one. But that's okay. Still gives a pretty suave pattern. It fell out. Okay. And here's one I prepared earlier. So that you know, in case you haven't heard me tell you before, the Stampin' Up is the right side up. Right. That little blue piece fell out. So we have to go again. So we're going back through. Right. So we've just got a whole heap of little pieces of our designer series paper, and we'll come back with that because I might want to put, I'm going to put some flowers on it. All right. So 2 embossing folders to make our cake. And let's make sure we've got the right size piece. So we can actually have a pretty yummy looking cake. So it's so far looking fairly basic, and that's not the piece that we want. That was the dud piece that I did. Here's the piece that I prepared earlier. That is the base of my cake. And then we've got a smooth piece in the middle, and we've got the top of our cake. All right. So pretty basic looking cake. Okay. How do we tiz up our cake? Lots of different ways. All right. I'm thinking that that black border is going to look pretty good. Okay. So we've got all these tiny little pieces that I thought looked like candles. So, you know, we can still use them as candles, or we can actually make other candles, or we can do some other things. If you think your cake is too fat or too big, serving too many people, you can cut it down a little bit. Okay. The dies in here have lots of different things, and they look a bit like a dog's breakfast because I didn't put them all back properly, but that's all right. So this one here is for our flags to hang off. Okay. And for our, we've got some little tassels, and our tassels will fit on these scraps quite nicely. So you can cut out tassels to your heart's content in front of the telly. Okay. You can cut out little flowers, and some of the things I really love, this one comes with 2 tassels, so you could cut 2 out at a time. Okay. So we're going to cut some tassels out. We don't need the big banner. And I'm thinking that we need some flowers and potentially some leaves. Okay. If you would like to cut out banner pieces, you can, because this little banner here will fit on a lot of scraps as well. Just so, you know, for something a little bit different. And I'll pull that piece out there. Okay. So the other thing that you can use for our tassels is our, so a bit of, you can hang them on a piece of our ribbon or our baker's twine or something like that. Okay. So these little ones, you don't want to lose them. I will put that to the side. I was going to use that piece for some of my leaves, but that's okay. I've got other little pieces here that I can use for leaves. All right, so we need tassels and we need some leaves and some little flowers. So we'll get all of those, and we'll need a piece of string, for want of a better word. Okay, so we'll just grab some pieces. And because I've got lots of little pieces here, we can actually, what have I got in here? Let's bring that black in. We'll bring that black back in if I've got a piece that's long enough. Or fat enough. Need a fatter piece of black. Remember all these guys? There's one that's a little bit fatter. Oh, actually, you're a bit wider. I'm not going to use the whole piece of string, but I do want that middle curvy bit. And then I'm going to use this piece here, and that's going to cut, I'm going to cut my leaves out of it. And maybe some orange flowers. But where's my other tassel? So I think this piece here, this little scrap here, we're going to cut some tassels out of that. okay? Because I think I'll get at least 4 out of that. And we just cut these pieces up so that we've got them, because then we can build on our card from there. So you need to put in the extra piece of the cut and emboss machine to make this actually work. So we'll just do that again. Nobody saw that. I'm a bit tired from the scrapbooking. I felt like I was scrapbooking on fire today. What about you, Sharon? It was like, whoa, I was going. They had us scrapbooking fast and fast and furious. It was excellent. But of course I didn't stay caught up. So I've got all of these unfinished pages. But you know what? I had fun, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow and the next day. And look, if you see anybody posting photos and you think, I really want to get in on that, there's nothing stopping you from doing so. What is happening is we're doing all of the pages. Then what they will be doing is they'll be putting them up on YouTube, so that people can then scrapbook along. Like later on, we'll be able to watch them on there as well. But the trick is you have to buy the scrapbooking kit to be able to participate. Okay, so if you would like to participate in the event, you can purchase the kit. It'll get delivered to your home. The best thing is it's all cut up, a bit like when you come to my classes and everything's cut up. The girls absolutely love that. When they come to my retreats, they have to cut everything. Makes them appreciate me all the more, doesn't it? Oh, you only watch, Sharon? Yeah, I thought about it, but then I was sitting there and my hands get bored, so I like to play at the same time. So I thought, nah, I'll pull it out. But I didn't get up at 6 o'clock to start it. I decided that was just a wee bit early for me. So yeah, so I stayed asleep and I came back to it later. But that's okay, you know, it's all good. We've got and they'll be on Facebook for days, and I love the fact that if you speak a different language, when they go onto YouTube, they'll all have the appropriate closed captions in all the different languages, because the people that have been demonstrating are all Stampin' Up staff, and so far they're all speaking in English, for which I'm very grateful, because that's what I speak. But you know, it's smick. I love it. Actually, let's go with a pink flower just to break it up a bit, and we'll have some paler leaves. Okay, so I'm up to 6 little tassels, and I think I want 8. I don't know. I need enough that I can hang them nicely. So I'll do one more. I'll go through one more row. Oh, I just lost a little tiny leaf. But I only need 3 flowers, so. But the little leaf just fell down between the cracks of the cut and emboss machine. Has anyone else had that happen? Make sure you retrieve them fairly well straight away, because they will get lost if you don't. Oh, take your pick tool, came in very handy then. Okay, so I'll just send this through one more time to get some little tassels, 2 more little tassels, and then we'll be cooking with gas, so they say. All right. I should have brought my journaling pen over. I am loving the journaling pen. Actually, I'll grab it because it's very easy to grab. These come in a set of 3 for about $17. All right, and they're nice and fine at 0.4, but like it's like a little tiny tip. So They just draw beautifully. So we'll do some doodling on this as well. Okay, so if you decide your cake is too big, you can hide some underneath the top layers, because the way that the cake will work is as we go further back, the cake goes back. Okay, so it's a big cake. And then this piece here, I didn't have a piece that was big enough to fit the whole die. I love these tassels too. So, and I knew that I wasn't going to need the whole die because I'm doing a portrait card rather than a landscape card. So I wasn't going to need the whole die. So I thought, well, that's fine. I can use this to my advantage. Okay. And look at even if you wanted to, you could actually just line that up there beautifully and off we go. So the little tassels, I just love them. And they look really cool if you've got a blending brush here, which I do. And that's why this paper makes it looks really cool, because the paper has already got an element of shading to it. So you can actually use that to your advantage when you're playing with your tassels, because some of these are darker than others. All right. You know, I don't know who that is, so we'll just go like this. Watch this. And they can leave a message. Okay. All right. So they've got like a shaded element already to them. And then we've got our, where did all the leaves go? They've just like up and developed some legs. I'm sure I did enough leaves for what I want. 3 flowers, and I should have had 6 leaves. All right. So far I can find 3 of them. So we'll see. Did they get stuck to the... Because I cut out 6. See? I know that I cut out 6. Well, it looks like we've got 3 leaves to use because the 6 didn't make it to the table. Okay. So we can put this down here. This one here is going to get popped up. Ah, I see, Sharon. You've been busy. She's been making birthday decorations. I've got to do that. My dear daughter's turning 21. Oh boy. But that'll be the youngest one, and then she's done. So yeah, it's all done then. We've got to have some room to... This is a nice, huge birthday. So we're going to use happy birthday. And it's a really nice big birthday sentiment. So we want to make sure we've got some room for it. We're actually going to have to probably move some things over a bit. Maybe not use so many tassels. I don't know. We'll see. But the word birthday is quite huge, so we want to make sure that we have room for it. Okay, and the happy is only teeny tiny. So make a wish won't fit down any further, so we're going to go with the happy birthday. Cool. If you want to add numbers to it, this is the set that's got really funky numbers. Okay, and you will see that there is one number 6, which is also a number 9. Okay, so just be aware of that. All right, so we're actually going to make this cake a little bit shorter, I think, than what it already is. All right, so the blue one is the one that's going to get adhered straight onto our piece of paper. And I'm just going to do it first just to make it so that it's stuck down nice and tight. And we'll just make it so that we can see where we want to stick it. And that's going to be about there. So that's going to give us room for our word birthday, which is going to essentially sit like a decoration there along the top. Okay. Our next layer. And I think I might add a little bit of dimension here as well, and then add dimension to the other one. Now, there's a couple of ways you can add dimension to this. You can add dimensionals under it. You can, if you only want a little bit of dimension under it, you can add another piece of cardstock under it. So or you could like double them up, for example, just so that then this one only doesn't end up too puffy. Okay. When I say doing that, we've got, where are they? Got all these bits of white. Okay. So they don't have to be, hold on. Excuse me. They don't have to be the exact same size, but I do have, I thought I had a pair of, oh, there they are. Pair of snips. How sad that our snips are gone. All right. You've got to be quick in this place. Okay. So I'm just actually going to glue that underneath here just to give it a little bit of height. Now you'll notice that it is thinner than this piece. Okay. And if you, oh, that one's too fat. If you want to do it again, I would encourage that, because if we make it a couple of them thick, I'm just measuring it with my eyeballs. Make it a couple of them thick. It just sort of brings it up just like a little step, 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 rather than making it all just a dimensional. And then the bottom one's going to go on with a dimensional, so it'll be just that little bit higher again. Just make sure that they don't, ooh, you don't want to see them out the edge. Okay. All right, so that is going to go on next. Put some glue on the back of that. And there she goes. And you can see what I mean by saying just a little bit of height. Oh, okay. And then this guy is going to go on with some dimensionals. If you wanted to, you could put a piece of flat on there, but you don't need to. Depending on how big a fan you are of dimensionals, depends on how many dimensionals you stick on there. Okay, it's not like it's going to get squeezed unless you, I suppose if you're sending it by mail, it might get squeezed. So you can be a little bit more generous. You all know that you can do this with your, this has got one of the crafting tips on it. Just makes it a little bit easier to pick off our dimensional backs, and makes it a little bit neater for disposing of them, because they all come off in one great big bunch. Okay, and then this guy's going to go on, and I'm going to put the green at the bottom. All right, so we'll just line that up. Oopsie. Now, because my dimensionals and my height are all at the bottom, that's okay, because that birthday will still stamp up there quite nicely. Thanks, Sharon. Okay, so the word birthday, we're going to I'm going to bring that black in. So I've got the black up here, and I've got the black that I'm using as the background. So I will use my memento to stamp, and I'm feeling brave. So I've already stuck all my pieces down, and I'm feeling brave. So I'm just going to stamp straight on it, like as you do. You know, so let's see. One of the other things I do is make a lot of cake toppers. So I like how they sit just on a cake, like a cake topper. So that's what this guy's doing. And I didn't realize that I was off the screen, but there it is there. So it is sitting on the cake like a cake topper would. A little bit hanging off over the side because it's quite big. And then this guy here is going to sit like another part of a cake topper. And it's going to, because a cake toppers, when you make a cake topper, they've got to all be, bits have all got to be attached. Okay, so something's got to support something else. So, oh, I've given Tony the sneezy bits. He's out there sneezing. So we've just got to make it so that there's nothing floating in the breeze. See what I mean? So it looks like a cake topper I've made. How sweet's that? Pretty cool, right? Okay. So, all right. There is a little bit of a gap just there. So I'm just going to put a little bit of a stick in there. And then if I push that down to there and this one down here, it actually looks like it's been poked into said cake. All right. These guys here are all just going to float across the top of it because we've made them and they can. And we've got flowers. Okay. Which I was going to say, I've lost another leaf. No, I haven't. There's still 3. Okay. All right. So we're going to have 1, 2. Oopsie. Now I've got to work out where I want all my tassels to go. It's a bit busy, isn't it? Okay. And this one. Oh, they're like not wanting to play nice. Might even not need tassels. Yeah, got to have tassels. Because we've cut them out. That's why we've got to have them. Oh, I don't know. What am I doing here? All right, let's glue this guy on. Okay. We learned some things today. One of the things that we learned is this becomes repositional if you let it go tacky. Okay. So we also learned that if you put a dot on it and then drag it along and let it go tacky, it doesn't go swoosh out the side. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to leave it there so while we play with the flowers. Okay. Which we're going to put as part of a cluster. Probably should have done a different flower because that one's the wrong colour. We're going to put a little cluster of flowers down here. Now, the other thing you could do, because you've got everything else patterned, you could actually put flowers on this guy. All right, it's up to you, but I like the cluster idea. Okay, so we'll just put some glue on here and stick a petal onto that. And this one here, the other way you can put glue on is you can actually put it direct to your flower. And then this one here, it can have some glue direct as well. Choice is yours which way you put glue on. Now these do have a little hole in the middle, which means that I wouldn't be able to put a dimensional underneath them. The little leaves are really tiny. I was looking at them thinking, oh, they make really good candles. But they're so tiny that, let me tell you, they don't make really good candles because they're too tiny for candles. And then it's up to you to decide which way you think said leaf should go. Okay? And they go in 2 different directions. Okay, here she comes. Mag's come over to say hello. Oh look, I found the other leaves. They're all bunched up in it. Wonder if there's 2 leaves there. Nope, there's only 1. Okay. Oh my gosh, here comes another one, just like the other one.
Hello. Oh, what have you got? I have. Ooh, for you.
Oh, cool.
Money. There you go.
This one, I wonder if this is the other one that's got the 2 on it.
Looks too small.
No, it's not too small. The leaves are too small.
What's too small to make a candle?
A flame.
No.
That's too small for a flame. Unless I was putting it on the top of the birthday cake up there.
Yeah.
They've gone. Okay. I'm just putting another leaf over here. Oops, I've got it upside down on my take your pick tool. When you've decided which way up your leaves go, make sure they all follow the same way. Okay? You can put little gems in there just to add a little bit of sparkle and shine, of which I don't have any on the table. They're too big. Maeve might like to go and run in my gems over the back there somewhere and find me something. Oh, hold on. Here's some. No, they're wrong. They're too big. She'll go and have a look and see what she comes up with. What's the bet it's not currant? Okay. Uh-oh. What she found. Not currant.
What? You didn't say they had to be currant with it then.
They're not currant either.
Well,
Look, she's
why not
found my
just use
retired
them?
stash
Oh.
of goodies.
You have to get more organised. This isn't. Nothing's labelled.
Nothing's labelled. Nothing's currant. Oh my gosh, it's bad. But they're too big. There is some stuff in here that is currant, but I don't know where it is. Oh. All right, that's fine. We're not using gems, ladies and gents. All right. Gosh, do you know it's funny? I actually knew that that's what she'd go and grab. I've got these guys, but you see what I'm saying when I say they're too big? Although, you know what? I reckon we can make them work. What do you think? It's amazing what you can make work if you want. Okay, so let's give them some timid tiger centers. Oh yeah, the timid tiger centers work. Okay, and a third one. Hey!
She keeps hitting me with a bucket.
All right. Please excuse my darling little girls in the background here. Okay, and we'll need to stick these guys on. Just put a little bit of glue up the top so that if you wanted to, you can actually make these a little bit, I don't know what the word would be, movable. So they look like they're swaying a bit. Now, you'll notice I'm going over the edge. And that is because because I can. All right. This one here, I can trim it down later. This one here needed it to be a little bit lower. And it's like we've parted them around our happy birthday cake topper because, you know, we had to. It's all good. Okay. So come to the back here and I'm actually going to trim the black piece and those bits there off. But I'm leaving that bit there. Okay, so that's going to sit on here like so. But there's no fibre on it or anything. Oh, we need some. Let's see, what have I got here? That's what we should have done, isn't it? We should have put a bow or a ribbon around it. Do you think it's too late to tuck it in? All right, let's see what we can do. That would need tucking in underneath there. Oh, yep, it's going to go. there must be a gap. Now, if you're remaking this, put this guy on first. Look, there's that other ribbon, other leaf. I knew it was there somewhere. Just move that to the side. Okay, because this piece under here is where we put all those layers of that paper. So I'm just going to shove that under there. And hopefully when I pull it across, it's going to stay. Now, when you're making this, you're going to put that on before you adhere that down. You're going to think first, okay? All right. And then we'll just, using a bit of tear tape, we'll just adhere that at the back. Because of the way we've done that, you're going to have to very gently pull it across. Oh, and the cake's a bit big. Just going to trim that down a bit. Using that piece of white as my edge. And we'll put you over here. Okay, just stick that to the side. That looks better. Okay. I'm not tying a bow because I think a bow will be too big. But I think a knot will look very professional. Says the cake maker in me. I usually pay someone to make my cakes. What about you, Sharon? Do you make your own cakes as well? Okay, if it's wiggling around and you want it to sit still, put a glue dot under it, okay? All right, so now we can glue this to the back here. Look, it's even off the bottom there. That's all right. A bit on our ribbon. And now you're probably all wondering what I've got the journaling pen over here for. There's a couple of things you can do with journaling pens. They write beautifully, okay? But they also doodle beautifully. So we can actually add a little bit of something to our otherwise relatively plain background that I still think looks pretty good smeek. Okay. All right. And we can do something like so. Just to do just to give it a little bit of extra charm, for want of a better way of putting it. And why do I like this instead of our markers? It's thinner, okay? So it's a lot more forgiving when you're playing with it, okay? It just changes it up a little bit, okay? And I just like it. Right. And if you wanted to, you could actually put some dots like freckles all over your plainer piece. So it just looks like it's got a little bit of colour in it. And we might put some up the top up here, just again, because we can. All right, looking pretty good, isn't it? Just pieces that I had left over from before, But what are we going to put on our envelope and on our inside? Well, on our inside, we're going to go with more. We've got more banner pieces, but I haven't cut a second banner. So, oh, there's that other leaf. Let's put that, because we don't want 4 leaves. I actually wanted 5 leaves on there, so we can put another leaf. I've got all gibby all over it. So let me see. Piece of scrap. Just use a piece of scrap, get all the gibby bits off, and then it can go in the bin. So I'll just put a little bit of a dot here. For that leaf. Okay, so we're going to make the middle. I'll stick that leaf on there a sec. We're going to make the middle look very similar to the front, except it's not going to have a cake on it. All right, but we're going to have all of these guys. Okay, so I should have, I've got 3 there, I should have 5 left. All right, remember they're all different colours, so just put them in the order that you think that they need to go in. All right, how's that looking over there? Looks like it's a little bit drier, so that can go there. Okay, so we've clustered them up there a little bit, so I'm actually going to cluster them up on this a bit as well. I've got a bit too much glue on that one, so there's a big knob of glue there, so we'll just go like that. And they're not going to hang even, because I don't want them to. Oh, who's got measles? Oh no. Oh, it's got measles. Yes, it has got measles. Oh, it's got freckles in it. Hundreds and thousands, but they're all black ones. That's right. So I'm just going to put these banners along here. Again, I've got too big a dot of blue, so we'll just share it with this one. That one's got to go first. And this guy. All right. Now, because we don't have the black line, I'm actually going to draw. Oh, no. Do I want to cut another black line? I really don't. Yeah, I'm going to draw. So I'm just going to draw a string line between these. Okay, and then I'm going to continue to do a similar sort of thing around my piece of card. And you'll notice that I'm not doing the same number of dots each time. Sometimes I'm doing 2, sometimes I'm doing 3. 3 is my maximum, and they're all different sizes as what I'm doing. And it's just so that it's, you know, just something to provide a little bit of, just something different, I guess. We all like to do something different. Another way you can do it, where's a piece of white, is I really like doing it things like this, going along and then going like that in it, like I've stitched it and I've back stitched over it. I really like doing that too. But I haven't done that on this one, so I'm not going to start now, because then I'll have to change the front. Okay. But we'll come up the side here. And you've got to hold your tongue in the right position, I always say. All right. And of course, now I normally don't put sentiments on the inside because I do sell a lot of my cards, and I don't put a sentiment on the inside so that I can sell it and I can actually just write all the insides are blank on them. But I really like this Make a Wish. Okay, So I'll just take my happy off there. Oh, that's not big enough. Put happy back on it. Make a wish. And now because of the colours that I've used on the front, I'm going to use Granny Apple Green. Now you can colour them in if you want to, but you don't have to. Okay, I'll use the Granny Apple Green. I could use the black to bring it through, but I won't. So we'll just put Make a Wish in there and hold my tongue in the right spot. So hopefully it ends up straight. There she goes. All right, and on the front, we've got this really cool banner in here. So we can use the banner, or we can put flowers if you wanted to. It's up to you. But we can use the banner stamp. We'll just put the birthday back over there. Turn it upside down and put it on the right way, Court. Oh, naughty. Okay, and we can use the banner one to put, let's use Lemon Lime Twist. Some banners on it. We don't want to confuse Mr. Postman. Okay. All right, in that colour. And we'll have a stamp cleaner somewhere. Maybe not, so we won't be using a second colour. If you want to use a second colour, you would go with a darker colour, because then our Granny Apple Green, after it's been wiped on our black jeans, will not have an effect on our, in this case, berry burst. You know, just so that you can use a little bit of a different colour, okay? Because I didn't bring cleaner over to the table. Got everything else. Let's put our inside in. And again, we've used some more scraps. Now, next week is week 4. What do you reckon? Should we do another scrappy one, or should we do a scrappy scrapbook page? All right, what do you reckon? I've got plenty of more bits of paper everywhere. And there's so many different things that I've seen you. If you're in the mood for die cutting, you can cut heaps of bits of paper out. Look at that. That turned out pretty slick if I do say so myself. So next week we'll look again at using some of our leftover pieces off cuts. They're not scraps really, because everything's still beautiful. But there is a happy birthday card made with designer series paper off cuts and a few stamps. Okay, so without further ado, I guess I will say I'll do a scrapbooking page. I knew you'd vote for that, Kate. Without further ado, keep popping in the comments whether you want me to do a scrapbook page or another card, or something even different. I don't know. A scrapbook page will take a little bit longer, but it just depends on how much time everyone's got. So I haven't done a scrapbook page for a while for you all. So yeah, I think I can do that. All right, we'll see. It'll be designer series paper, off-cut scraps, or deliberately made long sticks or pieces, you know, that sort of thing. So without further ado, I will catch up with you all later. Oh, that's what you could do. What about a kit one? Yeah, I knew you'd want another card, Chris. We'll see. When we do the scrapbooking, a few weeks ago, I did one, a scrapbooking page, and I had leftover bits from the scrapbooking kits, because we've got scrapbooking kits available in the online store. So I could actually do some of the leftover pieces from those scrapbooking kits. So we'll see. You'll have to check in next week and see what we do. All right, I'll catch you all then. Toodaloo.